Welcome to another episode of the BPA Show. I am your host, Mr. Boggins, and this is my co-host at Patrick Key Odie. What's up, homie?
What's going on, brother? It's week. This week. I tell you.
Yep.
It's been good, but it's been crazy. That's for sure. It flew by way too fast.
Yep.
Man, I didn't even realize it was Thursday. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even realize.
I know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had last week because of Juneteenth, we had that off, so we had a 3-day weekend, and then this week we have a 4-day weekend. So I'm feeling a little what's it called? Spoiled, lost. Yeah, I guess. I don't know why I'd be lost. I feel found because I get a lot of rest. But it's fine. Besides that, I am very excited to finish this series off with probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite division draft class in the National Football League. This is a really good one, in my opinion.
Probably a couple of the best classes in this draft.
Yep, I absolutely agree, and a ton of them. There was a lot of picks in this. This one division took probably half of the draft. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that's math. I feel like that's how people do math.
So, something like that. Well, how many picks are there?
237, and they had, I think,
204, something like that.
So
69. Nice.
Thanks, bro. All right. So this week we are obviously in the AFC South, and we're gonna start them off with the Houston Texans, the ones who thought they were gonna have their first dibs at a QB. But little did they know that Tepper was like, hell nah, fam. We is jumping your ass.
Yep.
And damn, did they do well. They
got Bryce. I feel like a lot of people thought Bryce Young was going to be a Texan.
A lot of people did. And sure enough, the Carolina Panthers was like, nah, fam. This is our QB1. And CJ Stroud was maybe the Texans' number one QB. Maybe. I don't know. Let's go through it. All right. So round one, CJ Stroud, Ohio State. Will Anderson. They traded up for Will Anderson. Let's go over this real quick. The Arizona Cardinals trade with the Houston Texans, and the Houston Texans get number 3, number 105, and then the Cardinals get 12, 33, next year's first round, and next year's third round. Whether or not you think it's like, we'll find out whether or not it pans out, but I don't know. This is kind of the same situation as the Lions for me, where I feel like they went and got their guys. They loved a certain couple guys, and they went and got them. Now you have a face of the offense and a face of the defense. The Houston Texans were looking for a new face, like overall in the whole entire organization. They went and got DeMeco Ryans, who has brought life back to that organization. Now you got your QB. Now you got your defensive star. I'm personally not mad at it. We'll come back and talk about this in a second.
Yeah.
Then coming into the second round, Juice Scruggs,
center,
not cornerback, out of stupid PFF. Tank Dell out of Houston, Dylan Horton, edge out of TCU, Henry To'o out of Alabama, Jarrett Patterson falling all the way to round 6, center out of Notre Dame, Xavier Hutchinson, Iowa State, and Brandon Hill, Pittsburgh. There's a lot here, my guy. What stands out to you?
Well, I think obviously we have to talk about, the Will Anderson trade. Yeah. This was something that was kind of rumored. I think we actually talked about it on this show before the draft. I brought up that Houston was one of those teams that might be trading for back-to-back picks in the first round. So you heard it on BPA Show first. But yeah, I mean, you get your quarterback and then you get your premier edge rusher. The Juice Scruggs one, I was like, okay.
Bit of a reach.
But I, after going back and watching his film, it was like, okay, like there's something there that you can work with, right? And he's slated to be their starting center. We'll see what happens with Scott Quessenberry, but Tank Dell loved that pick because I felt like his stock from the Senior Bowl really rose. This is a guy who's a burner. He's a good route runner. He's not the biggest dude, but he can play, right? You add to the edge room with Dylan Horton. You get an athletic linebacker in To'o, and with D'Amico Ryans' defense, that's going to be fun to watch because they love athletic linebackers. They turned, Fred Warner is not a direct product of D'Amico Ryans, but he excelled in that system. So that defense is going to be really, really good for athletic linebackers. Jarrett Patterson, you're getting a guy who can play multiple positions on the line. Xavier Hutchinson is the steal of this class, though, for the Texans. This is a guy who can be a true Z receiver in the NFL. Great route runner. He's great in open space, and he's great after the catch. So all in all, I think this is a really strong draft class for the Texans. I think this is a great first class for D'Amico Ryans. Yeah, we can say that the trade for Will Anderson, you gave up quite a bit to go get your guy, but like this is a dude who is a freak, who was for a while was considered to be that top pick in this class. So you have to like respect them. They got two of the top, we could say two of the top three players in this draft in back-to-back picks. I think that that's solid no matter like what you're giving up for it. All around, I think that this was a fantastic class because of the trade value, because of maybe the reach on Scruggs. I'm going to give this class a B+. I think that it's really strong. I think we'll see how CJ Stroud pans out. But I think all in all, I think it's going to be a really good one for the Texans. And I've said numerous times that I think later in the season, the Texans are going to probably catch some steam. If Stroud can come in and he can get going early, if Will Anderson can come out of the gate strong, this is a Texans team that might be fighting for that second place spot in the AFC South.
I mean, let's be honest. Like the Jaguars looked really good last year, but it's not like they're a guaranteed like number one in that division. And I mean, at least that's what I feel like. I feel like they could definitely, they could potentially not fall off, but I think if you could have another solid team in that division and actually compete for that division. Like I said before, I really like the Will Anderson pick. I like the, I mean, a lot of people talked a little bit too much, I think, about Will Anderson and overthought it. I know he did a little bit of falling, and they just kind of just way overthought it. Daniel Jeremiah talked about this potentially happening as well for the Texans, not only snagging their quarterback, but jumping back up and getting Will Anderson. And my God, was he right on point? Because I know a lot of people there was a lot of smoke that the Houston Texans weren't going to even take a quarterback, that they were going to let it slide and just go with Will Anderson. I said, no. I said, there's no shot that you are trying to rebuild your franchise. You have a solid QB draft that doesn't come along super often. You're going to snag one of these QBs. And then they took their, I wouldn't say luxury pick, but they took their risk on coming back up and getting Will Anderson. You were taking away you were taking two of the most premier, if not the most, I would say the most premier,
realistically
positions.
The two most premier positions on a football team right now.
Exactly. And so I don't know. I like it a lot. I like the speed addition. I think Bobby Slowick there as a new offensive coordinator coming from the Shanahan system, all that speed everywhere is going to be an absolute nightmare for defenses to try and figure out, because I talked a lot about it in the offseason about Robert Woods and how I like Robert Woods, but I wasn't sure who their number one receiver was in Houston Texans.
It's got to be Nico. It's got to be Nico. Like he has been so consistent over these last 2 seasons. Like he has to be. The fact that they did trade away Brandon Cooks, like they traded him to the Cowboys, whatever. But they're getting John Mechie back. Robert Woods is basically just the vet in the room now. You know, and it's not a terrible thing to have. Especially with
run routes like the best of them.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more speed. I mean, I think,
and you can move him around.
Yep,
you can move him around outside. You can play him from the slot, and especially in the Shanahan system, he's going to be moving quite a bit in that offensive scheme. So,
and I think this receiving core is I want to say very underrated, but at the same time, it's just
unknown.
It's just all speed, right?
Yeah.
Because you have Xavier Hutchinson, you just added Amari Rogers as well, Noah Brown, Tank Dell, Robert Woods, John Mechie is now healthy enough to play.
Johnny Johnson, Steven Sims is going to be one of those dudes to watch too. That guy, he's shown some flashes here and there, but they got a couple Alabama boys in there. You know, Tank Dell is going to be a lot of fun to watch, man.
And
this offense is going to be fun.
And also, I would say in this Shanahan system, don't sleep on these running backs as well, because you have Mike Boone as your deep and as your third string, Singletary, and then of course Dameon Pierce, who had a baller rookie season last season. So I don't know. I think you have a lot of opportunity if this Bobby Slowick offense can mesh well and come along. I think you're looking at a decently solid offense for sure.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think D'Amico Ryans is going to have that defense right and tight real quick.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is I'd want to try and kind of solidify that secondary a little bit better. I mean, I like some of the pieces that they added, but there's nothing that's really.
I mean, Jalen Petrie played his ass off last year. He's been awesome. No surprise there. Derek Stingley, I think this is going to be, this is his season. Like this is his breakout year. You know, it dealt with some stuff, dealt with some stuff last year, but he showed flashes. Court got the best of him for sure. But there's some vets in that room as well. I mean, they bring in Shaquille Griffin, Desmond King, Jimmy Ward, Steven Nelson, Darius Phillips. So there's some veteran presence in there. I think the area that needs the biggest upgrade though is the linebacker group. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if Toto Oto is starting.
They got a lot of
week 5.
Yeah, they got a lot of older guys. I'm surprised. Yeah. I honestly. I mean, your nickelback situation is okay, but like I honestly wouldn't mind Toto in the secondary as well as like your dime backer,
like a rover.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that at all. All right. So, I didn't give it a grade. I'm giving it an A- actually. I really like this.
I'd agree with that.
I really like this draft class. Not class, but this whatever.
Yeah,
what do you call it? I don't know. This pick
class.
Yeah, I really like it almost all around. The only pick that I would question is maybe Brandon Hill, but it's like the 7th round, so who cares? And he's kind of just like a
secondary special teams depth.
Yeah.
If we were gonna nitpick any one of these picks, I think I would.
Dylan Horton.
Yeah, I'd probably nitpick Dylan Horton a little bit more, because I think like Clark Phillips III went 4 picks after Horton, right?
Yeah.
And so if we're talking about like improving the nickelback position, right? You're trying to improve that nickel corner. I feel like Clark Phillips would have been a good pick there.
Fehoko went at 129.
Yeah, Fehoko went.
We're gonna keep talking about that forever because
I know Chandler Zavala went at 114. That would have been a great upgrade eventually as they get they have Kenyon Green, who has not really caught up yet, which, whatever. He was a rookie last year. And then they traded for Shaq Mason. But, like, you could have had Chandler Zavala instead of Jarrett Patterson as that backup guard, right? So that's one area to look at it. Ventrell Miller the linebacker from Florida, he went 121. If you're looking for athletic linebackers, like could have gone there. Nick Herbig went at 132. Tyler Scott went 133. Jay Ward went 134.
Yeah.
So there's
some options.
Nitpicky. Darius Rush went in the 5th round. I'm never gonna live that down. I'm never gonna live the fact that Darius Rush went into the 5th round. Yeah. I felt like he should have been third at the most. But
fair enough. All right, moving on to
Mike Morris too. Mike Morris went in the 5th round. Freak.
Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, let's just say this now. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this. Yeah, let's just get this out of the way. All right, they killed this.
This is love.
They killed this. We can't sit here and nitpick any of these picks.
Yeah,
we just can't. They got 3 of our favorite corners. 3 of our favorite corners in this class. Yeah. They got one of our favorite offensive linemen. They got our favorite quarterback. They got one of our favorite wide receivers. They got one of our favorite defensive linemen. Like, goddamn. I guess we could say Daniel Scott blew his knee out in training camp, so that pick is whatever. But like, damn, they killed this.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn. I mean, damn.
Oh, they already got Julius Brents on our lads listed as Juju Brents.
Hey,
I don't mind it.
I like it.
I don't mind it. The old Juju's done anyway, so it's fine. All right. So, first pick, Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Second pick, Julius Brents, Kansas State. Josh Downs, North Carolina. Blake Freeland, BYU. Aid out of Northwestern. Darius Rush out of South Carolina. Daniel Scott, California. Will Mallory, Miami. Asim Richards, North Carolina. Titus Leo Wagner. Jalen Jones in the 7th round. Texas A&M. And Jake Witt out of Northern Michigan. God, what doesn't stand out to me? You needed to bolster that line, and I fully believe you did that. Yeah. You needed to bolster that secondary, and I fully believe you did
1,000%.
You needed a quarterback. You didn't invest in anything in the offseason. You went into this being like, we need a quarterback, and this is going to be our starter. So you are investing in a rookie quarterback, and by God, did you reach for the sky?
Yeah,
because Anthony Richardson is that dude. Everybody knows he absolutely dominated the combine. He made it his bitch, and if he can do that on the football field, oh boy. And with Anthony Richardson having weapons like maybe not Michael Pittman Jr. right now, but
why not?
Gambling.
Was he caught in that?
Yep.
Damn.
And then, but I mean, him and Jonathan Taylor, that's like, screw it. Who cares what you have a receiver? It doesn't matter. You as a defense, you will be so distracted by who has the ball, whether it be Richardson or Taylor on an RPO, that you're like, oh shit, I forgot about the 3 receivers running behind me as well. And then you got Jelani Woods and Mo Alley Cox as your gigantic interior receiving threats. And I mean, you have a
I just fact checked this.
Yeah.
I just fact checked this. Michael Pittman was not a part of that group.
What? I saw a report that he was.
No, okay. That was fake Adam Schefter, my boy.
Oh,
you got.
I got Scott. All right,
you
cool.
Got.
Michael Pittman's vlogs will stay trash. Okay.
Wow.
So, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Great.
I've watched like 5 minutes of one. I was joking. You have an okay receiving core. I Alex Pierce had a decent rookie season. Him and Michael Pittman should be pretty solid. I think Josh Downs is going to take over Isaiah McKenzie's spot pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like that's just gonna be an interchangeable position.
Yeah, and if Rashad Perriman could ever stay healthy, he might do something.
He'll be a big body type. But I think they have enough on the receiving end to be fine for now. Obviously you just want Anthony Richardson to get comfortable. And that means you run the ball a lot. They invested a draft pick in Evan Hull, which is awesome. Love that for them. You got Zach Moss, another bruiser. You got Jonathan Taylor, all pro running back. I think that this is the best case scenario for the Colts. Is it going to work right away? And this is the thing. This class is great. It's awesome. But this is a class that's built for 2-3 years from now, right? Anthony Richardson, dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dog. But Blake Freeland, they're going to wait for him to come around. He could be their guy at tackle. So that's fine. You've got Quentin Nelson for the foreseeable future. Bernard Raymond, hopefully he comes around. Ryan Kelly, probably not going to be there next year, but that's okay. You can go get a center in free agency, whatever. But this is a team that is built for 2 to 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson is going to be a solid NFL quarterback, but all of these picks, are they going to perform this year? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't. But we're going to see some crazy shit from Anthony Richardson this year, and I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, this is a fanboy class right here. This is like high ceiling fanboy class. We're really excited about what could be in this class. Will it for certain be? I mean, no class will for certain be. No. This one is definitely on the we'll see.
We're gonna keep our eyes on this one.
Absolutely.
This could be one of those classes that we've always loved Chris Ballard and how well he drafts and how good of a personnel person he is. This could be one of those classes that we look back at Chris Ballard and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You nailed this. You nailed this.
100%.
Getting, and it's not even the fact that he got talented guys. It's the fact that he got talented guys in these draft slots, right? Julius Brents, second round. That's kind of where we saw him going. Yeah. There was a little bit of smoke for him to be, top 35, but that's okay. 44, not bad. But you get a guy like Josh Downs, who was the top slot receiver outside of Zay Flowers, the top slot receiver in this class. You get him at 79. Fantastic value. Addy, you get him at 110. Fantastic value. Darius Rush at 138. Fantastic value. Will Mallory, 162. Fantastic. Jalen Jones, 221. Fantastic value. This is going to be one of those classes that we look back at and holy shit, how did he know? How did he know to do this?
Yep, absolutely.
A plus.
And like I said, I don't care, man. I'll say it right now. I think this division is wide open. I think if Anthony Richardson has the potential to be, I don't want to say a flash in the pan, but coming in hot, you know what I mean? Where it'll the first season, kind of like a Justin Herbert, right? Where it's just
run the fucking ball.
Holy shit! What? We don't know what to do with this, right? Yeah. And then it kind of simmers a bit toward the end, but the beginning could be. I already predict preseason is going to be what am I watching?
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's just look at this really quick. Because I'm curious, right? Jonathan Taylor in 3 seasons has, he went over 230 carries in his rookie season in 15 games, over 330 carries in his second season, literally 100 more carries on the dot from year 1 to year 2. And then obviously last year, 11 games, 192 carries, was still on pace.
Yep.
Right? They're going to run the ball a lot. Like Anthony Richardson is not going to have to do much. And I think that we talked about this during the draft process. If he was to go to Carolina, or if he was to go to Indianapolis, this was the best case scenario for him.
Mm-hmm.
You get Shane Steichen, great offensive mind, knows how to work with mobile quarterbacks. You get you pair him with Jonathan Taylor and a fine receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
Best case scenario.
And Jonathan Taylor is only 24 years old, so he's in like premier
prime,
age
prime, and a good like. Is this the same Colts offensive line that they had a couple years ago? No. But they're still good. They're still decent,
and they're building it back. They're addressing it. Like they have options now, which is what you want to see. And last year they were 9th in passing attempts. Mm-hmm.
I expect it to be down. 9th in passing attempts. They ranked 23rd in passing yards. I expect it to level out a little bit, probably somewhere between 13 and 15 in attempts, and probably somewhere around 16, 18 in yards. They're not going to they might air it out more. Mm-hmm. I feel like Jalen Hurts' arm strength compared to Anthony Richardson's is night and day. Those deep concepts that they want to run with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, you can run those in Indianapolis now. You can move him outside of the pocket and shit. Oh, I got a post 70 yards down the field. And that's the sound. That's the sound it's going to make coming out of his hand. Every time. We'll hear the mic.
Ball is brown, so
we'll hear the mic'd up. He'll, snap the ball. He's going through everything. And you just hear but in all seriousness, I think that this is a great opportunity for Indianapolis to finally get back to having a solid quarterback under center. It's been way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long. When it was rumored that Derek Carr was going to be the option, I think both of us were like, is that the best you could do? Is it really?
Yeah, but that's what's funny about it, because Derek Carr would have been solid-ish, but it didn't move the needle, right? You would still be you would still be relying on Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor would be the biggest upside on your offense. Well, that's not the case anymore. Now you have to legitimately worry about what Anthony Richardson can do. He can run the ball and he can truck fools.
Yeah.
And he can
change
throw
of
it 75 yards down the field behind his back. That stupid thing they have in Madden where
oh my God, when they're diving the Mahomes
throw, he could probably do it.
That was incomplete. Why are we putting that in the game? It was an incomplete pass.
My favorite is one dude did it the opposite direction. He still could do it. He's diving the opposite direction.
Dive. Right-handed quarterback diving to the left and just perfect spiral.
Yeah, he threw it 70 yards. It was great.
Last note here, the Colts offense went over 300 passing yards 3 times last year. Against the Houston Texans in week 1, they had 340 passing yards, 177 rushing yards. Against the Tennessee Titans, 327 passing yards, 38 rushing yards, 3 turnovers too, by the way. And against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 389 yards, 45 rushing yards. I have to believe with my full confidence that are they going to double that number to 6 games of 300 yards? Probably not. The most we've seen, I think, is Herbert with 8. Right? Mm-hmm. But the discrepancy between the amount of 300 games and then the amount of under 200 yard games is fucking unbelievable.
Yep.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games with less than 200 passing yards. One of them was 43 yards, 43 passing yards. You cannot, with a straight face, sit there and tell me that Anthony Richardson, even as a rookie, will have 9 games of less than 100 passing yards. I hammer the under on that. Hammer it. Way less. That's abysmal. A+. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Great convo. That was fantastic.
It's a great draft.
It was like we were on a sports show just now.
What?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I saw Will Levis and I laughed. Oh, it's awful. Turn it off.
Called and he answered.
He looks like a dude.
Tennessee Titans. Peter Skoronsky.
Oh, so you can say
Will
Titans,
Levis.
but I can't say cum Anders.
Yeah, it's offensive. Will Levis, Kentucky. Ty J. Spears, Tulane. Josh Wiley, Cincinnati. Jalen Duncan, Maryland. And Colton Dowell, Tennessee Martin. Okay, first of all,
I hate this class. This class makes me want to drink.
I think okay, I'm going to go after one pick that I don't think you're going to talk about as much, so I will. Ty J. Spears, I think, is a very interesting fit in this offense, because
in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah, I just don't know what you're going to do. I understand that he's going to be your scat back, like no kidding, but like if you I'm not saying he's going to take over for Derrick Henry, but I think he's just like the polar opposite. He's 5'9", quick, solid in the passing game. But he's just a very specific. He's going to be like your Darren Sproles, in an offense where you are definitely going to be running more power. So I just don't. I don't know if I understand it as much. So there's that. The Jalen Duncan one is also one that I'll highlight, because as we talked about from, I don't know, how long have we talked about this?
A long time.
We've talked about it for a very long time. The Jalen Duncan hype was obviously not felt in NFL war rooms as well. He has athletic potential. Strength sometimes, but he has the build that you would like, the prototypical build for a star tackle. So I think there's a lot of hopeful like wishing for Jalen Duncan, and maybe that will pan out. But you decided to pair him up. You decided to go Jalen Duncan, and you also decided to go Peter Skoronsky, who also is like a tackle, I guess. I mean, he's listed a tackle based off need.
Shouldn't be.
But I don't know. I think he's going to be a good tackle, but I think he would have been a star interior offensive lineman personally.
There's still time. Yeah. There's still time for them to make that change. And if you're Mike Vrabel and you're listening to this, I don't know more about football than you do. Okay. We're going to preface this with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I did see some game tape, Skoronsky, getting bullied by a 6th round white man from Wisconsin who just so happens to play for the Denver Broncos. And it was not pretty. Okay. I also watched this man get his head cocked back by another white who was a linebacker about 5 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Just stopped in his tracks. That's concerning to me from the scouting standpoint. Again,
white on white crime.
I don't know more about football than you do, Vrabes. Okay. Don't chop your dick off right now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Don't you do it. Don't you goddamn do it.
I want to rant about this fucking class so bad because I felt like every pick was like, okay, are they going to do something good? Are we going to upgrade this roster somehow because it's a skeleton of the team that went to the AFC Championship game not even that long ago?
Okay, you ready? Ready? Here we go. I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1. Get her.
What in the hell were you guys doing? Why did you take Tyjae Spears in the 3rd round? He's got arthritis in his knee. You have the medical reports. You have them. Why'd you do it? What are you doing? What are you thinking? Why? Tell me. Tell me, Vrabel. Why did you draft Will Levis? He fell out of the 1st round. You traded up for him still. If he's not going to start, this is Drew Lock 2.0. What are we doing? You saw it. The man, you saw how he eats bananas. What are we doing? He had like 17 turnovers last year. What are we thinking here? And then let's not even bring up the fact that our receiving room is headlined by Treylon Burks and a guy named Kyle. His name is Kyle. You got Nick, Kyle, and Treylon.
It's a fraternity if I've ever heard of one.
It's the white public school down the road who's got the one black friend. Upgrade the receiving room. It's what I was screaming to myself when I was watching all of their draft picks come across my phone. When are you going to take a receiver? Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, Patrick. We took Colton Dowell in the 7th round. Oh, no, don't worry.
From Tennessee Martin.
Don't worry. We got Josh Wiley in the 5th. This offense is going to be running and gunning. This offense is going to be running the fucking wishbone.
The wishbone.
I don't understand. From a team building aspect, your wide receiver room is so decimated. DeAndre Hopkins came into your organization. You rolled out the red carpet for him. You said, "Hey, DeAndre, we know you're a free agent. We really need to upgrade we need to upgrade our wide receiver room. We think you'd be a great fit." He walked into that building. He said, fuck no. This was awful. This was an awful drafting class. I give this class a D-. Tyjae Spears has
dumb.
Tyjae Spears, the only relevant positive that pushed them over was they got an offensive lineman in the 1st round, but you didn't even get the right one. You lost your left tackle. You go and sign a left tackle who's barely played any football at all in his NFL career. And then you go and draft a guy not named Broderick Jones. When you could have had Broderick Jones. No, let's draft a guard and put him at right tackle. That makes sense. Derrick Henry. You think Derrick Henry's going to run off of his ass when his head's getting pushed back? You see the guys that you have to play in your division? Do you see? You're not going to do anything. This isn't a solid team. And this is no way to support that team. You're supposed to build your team in the draft, not kill it. I sound like Obi-Wan there. That's a good bite. But yeah, man, I think if you have questions about your quarterback situation, if you have questions about your offensive line, if you have questions about your wide receiver room, you had all of these opportunities to go get players at those positions, and you didn't. Is Will Levis going to be your savior in Tennessee? No, he's not. Like, is Tyjae Spears going to be your lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder for a little bit until he has to walk with a fucking cane? Like, I just D-, man. D-. Why'd you draft Josh Wiley? Oh my God.
Okay, listen. I am not as down on Skoronski, and I am not as down on Will Levis. You can go back on Twitter. I had liked Will Levis last season. I was all about Will Levis. Like, I like the upside. Raise the roof for Will Levis upside. Is he a tool? Could be.
It's the turnover.
Could be, but he has upside, and I will give them a little bit for that. The Skoronki pick. You know what's weird is they currently. I just don't know what they're going with, because I understand that Jalen Duncan was in the 6th round, but you essentially got 2 right tackles.
That's a good value pick.
Essentially got 2 players that you're playing at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if Skoronski ever played right tackle. Actually,
I think he took some snaps.
Yeah,
he played. I think he played almost every position. I could be wrong.
I know he played center in high school, but I don't know if he played right tackle almost at all. But I don't know. I could be wrong. This class is just not sexy for me. And like I said, the Tyjae Spears one, I just don't know what you're doing. I don't know how he fits. Maybe he's a receiver. But he's also not healthy.
It's hard because, like, I understand if you want to take a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay. He went at 81. Tank Bigsby went at 88. Devon A-Chain went at 84. Michael Wilson, the receiver, went at 94. Trey Tucker, the receiver, went at 100. That was a little questionable, but we're not going to talk about that. Roschon Johnson. I felt like a Roschon Johnson, Derrick Henry backfield would be a problem.
Be nice.
Would be a problem.
Someone that could actually run power, like,
and someone who has relatively fresh legs, who doesn't have the knees of a 65-year-old man. I like Tyjae Spears,
but if Tyjae Spears doesn't work out, they have Hassan Haskins behind him.
I'm joking.
Yeah. I understand.
It's like, I just don't understand. You take Wiley at 147.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just, Dontavian Wicks, wide receiver. Could have been, could have been Chase Brown, the running back. Yeah, you want a little power in a bottle. Chase Brown. Yeah, there's one. Puka Nacua, receiver. Went in 5th.
You know who I wouldn't have liked, but it would have made more sense?
Parker Washington, 6th round. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Dwayne McBride would have made more sense.
McBride.
Even
with the fumbles.
I think he would have made more sense in this offense than. I mean, maybe I don't know.
A.T. Perry went 9 picks after Jalen Duncan. A.T. Perry would be starting in Tennessee right now.
Jalen Duncan. Yeah, I think
he's starting.
I may eat crow for this, but I have a premonition that I think the Tennessee Titans are going to be in. I don't want to.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's just the only thing that's stopping me from saying it is Vrabel. That's it. That's the only thing that's stopping me from saying it. And their front 7 is just absolutely insane. So that's it. That's
like I can't get over the wide receiver thing because it's like, yes, you have Tannehill, yes, you have Will Levis now, but like, are we going to be running 3-4 tight end sets always? Like Xavier, you could have gotten Xavier Hutchinson
as well now.
you could have got Xavier Hutchinson. Like that's a starter on your offense. You know, I just make it make sense, dude.
One player that is another good reason that they didn't, who actually did get in trouble for gambling today, was Petit Frere.
Oh yeah.
So there would have been another tackle option who, I mean, not gonna lie, wasn't playing great, but he had potential ish that would have been another addition to that tackle room where you're just kind of like, yeah, sure.
They didn't have a 4th round pick, but man, like that 4th round has some dudes in it that probably would have made a ton of sense. Like Roschon, obviously, DeJuan Jones. Like if you got Skoronski and you put him inside, and then you got, you know, DeJuan, you drafted him instead of Tyjae Spears in the 3rd round, like that would have been a better pick in my opinion. Fehoko, like obviously their front 7, yes, we're never going to stop talking, but like Charlie Jones went in the 4th round, Tyler Scott went in the 4th round. Like there were other options that they definitely could have upgraded their roster with, and I feel like they just kind of whiffed. They just kind of whiffed on the majority of these picks. Yeah, they got Sean Murphy Bunting in free agency. Fantastic. You know, Elijah Molden, Roger McCreary. It's their secondary, their defense does not look bad at all. It's just their offense. And you didn't upgrade the offense hardly at all. Like they're like, yeah, we got this great offensive lineman at 11. We got one of the top quarterbacks in the class. We got him in the 2nd round, son. We got one of the best running backs in the class. We got him in the 3rd round, son. But then it's like, are you joking? Do you actually think that way? This doesn't help your team. It's not an improvement. Anyways, D-.
C-. Sorry, Titans, not the biggest fans in the world, but we are finally moving on to
after 20 minutes.
After 20
rating
then we just got to go through this laundry list. Okay.
Thank God. This is refreshing.
Yeah. Anton Harrison, Oklahoma. Brenton Strange out of Penn State, Tank Bisbee, Auburn, Ventrell Miller, Florida, Tyler Lacey, Oklahoma State, Yasir Abdullah, Louisville, Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M, Parker Washington, Penn State, Christian Braswell out of Rutgers, Eric Hallett out of Pittsburgh, Cooper Hodges, Appalachian State, Raymond Vohasek out of North Carolina, and Derek Parrish out of Houston. I like this draft in pieces.
Yeah.
I think Eric Hallett is someone I tweeted about who I think is underrated. I think he retweeted me actually. I was really excited about that. Eric Hallett, I think, is a sleeper pick. I really like Eric Hallett II out of Pittsburgh. I just think he has a lot of what you would like to see in the safety position, and he is a ball hawk. Parker Washington, obviously, love me some Parker Washington. Just an absolute, like a reception receiver, if that makes any sense. Someone that you can trust to get
possession guy.
Yeah,
possession. He's a we call it a stick mover.
Yeah,
he'll move
exactly. He's like a Larry Fitz, like obviously not that level of, but like a Larry Fitz would just would move the ball down the field for you whenever you needed it.
Let's call him a Julian Edelman.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, there's a little tears there. Antonio Johnson, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't a huge fan of Antonio Johnson.
I think there's pieces of Antonio Johnson's game that can transfer over well.
Yeah,
but it's not a sexy pick.
I really don't like him at cornerback. I don't.
No, he's listed at free safety, which I think is the perfect spot.
Okay. Yeah, because I know he tested with the cornerbacks. I know that that was he could do either. I just don't like him there at all. But strong safety, sure. Nickelback, almost like a big dime back, sure. I could see that, but other than that, I'm not a big fan. Tank Bigsby, love that pick out of Auburn. Yeah. I think that's a really good addition to your running back room. Yeah, with Etienne, running back room. Bigsby,
Michael Hasty, D'Ernest Johnson.
I forgot they got D'Ernest Johnson too.
Snoop Connor too. Mm-hmm. This room has some speed to it. Yep. And it's going to be really fun to watch. You said Nickelback, so this is how you remind me. Cam Robinson got busted for PED use. So maybe that Anton Harrison pick is looking great right now. That's big brain stuff. We know this guy is going to get popped.
Look at this graph.
Look at this photograph. You failed your drug test.
Oh shit.
Good pick for them. I mean, it was a solid pick to begin with, right? And we said that on draft day. We were kind of why are they doing this? They have Cam Robinson. But now it makes a little bit more sense. They probably saw something was on the horizon. This guy's doing roids. He was playing really well for some reason. Well, we know the reason now. The Brenton Strange pick was a little
strange.
Thank you. I didn't you have Evan Ingram still, I guess, and maybe you're looking for something a little bit different in the tight end room. Whatever. Who knows what Doug is doing. But I love the Bigsby pick. I think Miller's a good option for them as far as linebacker depth. You're just building up. I liked Tyler Lacey too. I think that's a fantastic pick. Those back-to-back edge picks, a lot of fun. You add some depth at safety. Andre Sisco has been up and down, so you bring in a guy who maybe can compete. Parker Washington is going to be a fun target for Trevor Lawrence. He'll probably turn into that type of Julian Edelman-esque player for Trevor Lawrence. I feel like every quarterback they go through these phases where they have that one guy that they can rely on who's not their starting dude.
We didn't really talk about how loaded this receiving core is too. The addition of Parker Washington.
Obviously Christian Kirk. Everybody was clowning them last year for spending big money. That backfired on those people really hard. Zay Jones has kind of experienced a little bit of a resurgence in his career. That's fun to see. He's a fun guy. Calvin Ridley coming back, massive. He's still on his rookie contract too, by the way, which is really crazy. Jamal Agnew, you've got your speed. Seth Williams, we know him very well. And then you add Parker Washington. I think that this is going to be a really solid group. We can just call Evan Ingram a wide receiver at this point. He doesn't do much blocking. So, and Travis Etienne, we'll see if they involve him more in the passing game. He's been a little disappointing in the passing game so far, but we know he can do it. Just got to get him involved in it more. So I like the offense. I like the way that that's headed. The defense, they play hard. They really, really play hard. As long as they just stop giving up points early, I think they'll be fine. But this is a good class. I give this class, man. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning. C+ B- range. I think, there's areas where maybe they could have added a little bit more. I feel like their offensive line is honestly pretty solid. I know you don't like Walker Little, but he's been playing really well. So there's that.
Really? Yeah. I think their offensive line is solid. I'll give them solid.
Yeah. It's not great. Mm-hmm. It's not great. It's just solid.
But you're really going to stretch the field with that receiver core and your tight end. So I think that takes some pressure off.
They're going to stretch all right. was trying to make it. I was going to make it a Meyer joke, but it wasn't going to land.
Oh my god!
And they added Brandon McManus.
Man, that was.
They're winning the Super Bowl this year.
They are.
He's gonna. I wonder how that's gonna go with Doug Peterson when they're like in like that 60-64 range, and Brandon McManus comes up to Doug and he's like, "Come on, just let me do it." And Doug is like, "Brandon, shut the fuck up. We're not in Denver." He's like, "Come on, coach. I hit approximately 0 of these in Denver. Let me try."
It's.
Are you looking it up right now? Because he hit none. He hit none.
I'm not looking it up. I'm trying to just simply find who you're talking about, because all I understand is Pug Dieterson. That's forever.
Where did you find this?
Forever Pug Dieterson. That is for.
Why does this exist? This is not nearly as bad as the Jimmy G.
No, have you not seen the release for the Jaguars? It's good. It's good. The schedule release for the Jaguars.
I think it's that one.
It's they talk about as if the league really does script all of their everything that goes on, and it's just like a writer's meeting, and it is fantastic. I'll have to send it to you.
They do.
All right. Well, wait, did I give him a grade?
Yeah.
C+. Yeah. It's fine. I think they addressed a couple positions that they needed to. I like the addition of Anton Harrison. I love the Tank Bigsby pick. We were both big fans of Tank Bigsby going in. And the Parker Washington pick I love a lot, especially for this receiver core. You're just giving Trevor Lawrence a bunch of weapons to work with, along with a very solid running game. So yeah, C+.
Stupid linebacking core. I'm just looking at this linebacking core right now, and I'm like, holy shit. Devin Lloyd, Trevon Walker, Chad Muma, Kaylavon Chason, Ventrell Miller, Shaq Quarterman. There's a blast from the past. They got Josh Allen. Like this is a deep group.
Yep, they got a bunch of names in there that you kind of are waiting for them to really blow. Devin Lloyd obviously is going to be what?
I said, wow, really blow, huh?
I agree.
All right,
everybody. Well, thank you for joining us for another week. Wrapping up this series has been a fun one. Breaking down every single team in the NFL's draft class.
Every
single motherfucker one.
Every goddamn pick.
We are going to take a break for a while until training camp comes along, and then we will be back talking at you in your living rooms, on your phones, maybe wherever you decide to watch our stupid faces.
Maybe we should just do a training camp series and go by division. Here's how our graded draft picks did in training camp.
Hey, why don't we just strip for money and then we could afford to go to all the training camps?
Who says I'm not already stripping for money?
We love you all, and we will talk to you all very, very, very soon. By that, I mean the end of the month. Goodbye.